What is the biggest secret you've kept from your parents? I make more money than I let on. My parents have and will always be the I take care of you all your life. Time for you to pay it back type of parent. Except there is no end to this debt, so I hide money from them so they can't take advantage of me. I have an eating disorder. I've had one since I was 11, and I even went to the hospital for it. They still don't know that I don't love them. I care about them in the way I care for a hurt stranger, but I won't be crying when they die except for over the stress of handling the funeral and finding a place for their kid and animals to live. Ran debts in my name and never helped me out. For example, I was homeless twice in my mid-20s, but I couldn't stay with them apparently. At 18 I still didn't have a license because I couldn't borrow their car. Eventually saved up and paid for lessons. Not that I could afford a car until a few years later. At 20 had a job interview at a well-paying company, asked if they could drive me an hour to get there or let me drive. They agreed, and day of going they never showed up. Wrecked my ability when I lived with them from 16 to 22 by going off almost every week, leaving me with the kid and animals. A lot more that I'm not going to talk about. That I used to sneak out of the house from our second-story bathroom window to go nightclubbing with my friends after my parents went to bed. That my sister is gay. She openly admits it to everyone. Except for my family. She opened up to me. Eventually, but both my parents and older brother don't know about it. Since then we've become a lot closer than when we were kids. I recorded Gundam Wing Endless Waltz over my sister's high school graduation video. It's been about 18 years. But I still feel bad. That's a good film. High school graduation is insanely boring and literally nobody would have ever watched that recording. I met the guy my mom told me was my real father. We did a DNA test and there is a 0% chance. He even took me on a whitewater rafting trip with his wife and son. I've never told her. I just pay escorts to show as my girlfriend, so they would stop telling their friends to hook me up with their daughters. Every gathering they would show up, meet everyone, and always have to leave early. I pay by hour. When I was around 14 I overheard my parents arguing. My mom was yelling at my dad about some porn searches on the computer. It was really me that was going on the computer in their room and watching porn. He kept denying it and she kept calling him a liar. He slept in the guest bedroom for a month after that fight. Your dad knew and totally had your back. My location for the past 25 years. My mum doesn't know I've been arrested twice. One time with my dad. My depression and the fact I nearly failed out of first year because I couldn't handle university. My dad doesn't know that I was suspended due to grades for a semester in college. I used to watch South Park when they thought I was sleeping. That I was molested as a kid and suicidal for years afterwards. They knew I had a nervous breakdown freshman year of high school and was suicidal at 15. They didn't know I'd been messed up since I was 10. I actually did know why my laptop wasn't working. I spilt a fair bit of Jack Daniels on it. The fact that I have been diagnosed with depression since I was 15 and looked for help after 3 suicide attempts. I think my so is the only person who knows it, and Reddit now. My parents divorced when I was 8. My dad left, and I never saw much of him. Among other issues, he came out to my brother and I before they divorced. I never told my mother that he was gay. My father passed in 2011. My mother in 2017. I think she had an idea, but we never discussed it. He was born in 1945, before such a thing was accepted, and attempted at passing. When I was 12 I saw emails on my mom's iPod Touch. The emails were very suggestive and were between my mother and another man. I never told my dad that I saw those emails. I wish I did, because it turned out that she was cheating on him. This is the first time I've mentioned it to anyone. It feels good to get it off my chest. I was accused of rape when I was 17, legally an adult in Texas, so they didn't have to tell them, and a detective took my phone for the school day to verify the texts proving the encounter was consensual were real. Really weird time in my life, having to deal with the fallout at school and not telling them the truth. I sold pot in high school, which is nothing compared to y'all's stories because Damn, this is the darkest thread I've ever seen. I'm sorry, this world is shit. Hopefully you all find serenity. When I was in the 7th grade, one started to get into porn, and my favorite, for some reason, was guy-on-guy stuff even though I'm a girl. Anyways, I didn't know how anything but YouTube worked, so I ended up downloading like 3 gay porn videos on my phone, and I had an Android, so when I deleted the videos the download history was still in my phone. For some reason my mom took my phone and went through it and sat me down and asked me about the porn she found on it. But for some more context, I had to keep my phone in the living room at night and could only have it during the day. Now I'm not proud of this, but I'm a good liar. But in this situation I didn't have to do much lying, because as soon as I started crying and saying I didn't do it, she immediately believed me and blamed it on my stepdad, saying that she had a suspicion that he was gay through their whole relationship and all that. After that she never confronted him and just continued to stay with him even though she thought he was gay, and that's when I realized my mom was a gold digger. I got someone pregnant and I'm pretty sure she kept the baby and didn't tell me. That I constantly fantasized about murdering my verbally and physically abusive stepfather and then killing myself when I was a teen. He treated my mom like shit, and one day he punched me in the face for not washing my dirty dishes, which left a permanent gash above my eyebrow. I was really depressed and wanted to die, so I thought that I may as well take him with me. I always tried to talk myself into finding some way to kill him, but I never could go through with it. Closest I ever came to doing something was when he was asleep on the couch and my mom was gone to work. I grabbed a knife from the kitchen and just stood over him for a few minutes, contemplating if I should do it or not. Of course, I never did. Thankfully, he and my mom separated less than a year after that incident. My depression was minimized tremendously after that. Seriously though, that guy. That I'm diagnosed bipolar. My mom always wondered why I didn't have friends in high school, and it is because we were broke and I knew she was struggling, so I refused anytime people wanted to do things so I wouldn't ask for money. Then in my last year of high school I worked full-time, so I had no time to make friends. That I'm not going to finish my degree and I've paid off my student loans. My degree was pointless and I don't do well in school due to my ADHD. My dad constantly asks when I'm going to finish and stop bartending. I just say soon. I hate disappointing them because my dad gets very proud of my sister and I with our accomplishments. But truth be told, I'm quite content with the $60K I make bartending. My degree would have only pulled $35K starting. Stole money for weed and regret it to this day. My lazy ass should have just gotten a job instead. Parents are and raised me to be staunch Mormon. For those unfamiliar, Mormons believe their church is the only true church on earth. I don't believe it's true. They think I still go, but it's infrequent at best. My dad traded him being killed for sexual favors with me for an extended period of time when I was a teen. I told my mom about some of the smaller stuff and she didn't believe me, so I didn't even try. My husband is supportive. I was heavily addicted to morphine for my entire time at university. I was a high-functioning depressed alcoholic for my whole college life. Being sexually abused by my cousins, which my mom would leave me at their house to go to the casino a lot as a kid. I have been keeping the fact I was sexually assaulted at 13 a secret for years. When I was at Walmart with my mom, and I stole 2 of those big cartons full of Pokemon cards, took the cards and stuffed them in my back pocket. I planned the whole robbery a week before. I was the best robber at 9. I'm gonna use an alt for this one. I planned on ending my life on a school trip overseas. I was really having a bad time and my head was filled with such bad thoughts and I wanted them to go away. I didn't do it. As you can tell, I didn't want to ruin the trip for everyone else. I couldn't imagine telling my parents. Only one person knows. But you guys know now, lol. That I thought I have mental problems, but I keep pushing it down and trying to fix it myself because I think that people will think it's for the attention and it makes me question myself, but I try to be normal.